Thursday, April 3rd, 2014. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And tonight on Geek Nights, Wool.
Let's do this.
I guess more properly, the GeekNights Book Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So, warm today. So luxurious. I was so close to biking.
I only had to wear like a hoodie and a not really much coat.
Last night I was like, I should bike to work tomorrow. And then I went to bed. And then I woke up and I was like, I should bike to work today.
It's right on the borderline where I think you'll be totally cool biking to work, but since you'll be wearing shorts and then you go over the bridge, you'll be a little cold, like, but you'll make it, and then it'll be, it's like on that border.
I
like
have
2
an
degrees
advantage.
warmer, and it'll be like, fuck yeah.
I have a significant advantage. The Pulaski doesn't really count because it's
Hair?
barely a bridge.
Hair?
So, no.
If I had hair, I could bike now.
By the time I get to the Williamsburg Bridge, which is the bridge I have to worry about, I'm already hot and sweaty from biking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a bridge early in my ride, only late in the ride. The only reason I didn't bike was that I have not actually looked at my bike since last time I biked.
Yeah, I guess all I really need to do, I could
I had
probably
to
just
pump up the tires.
I could
clean
probably
it.
just pump it up and go, but I still got to check the brakes and make sure the wheel
I gotta clean
turns.
it. I gotta lube it. I actually want to degrease the chain and re-grease it. There's some stuff I want to
Actually,
do.
you're not supposed to do that.
Now mine's pretty fucking grody.
It's only a year old.
Yeah, and it's never been cleaned.
That's apparently, you still have the original grease that's from when you got the chain when the bike was new.
Nah.
You're supposed to not remove that for as long as humanly possible because you can basically never get lubrication better than what came from the factory.
Well, my old mountain bike, actually, I never lubed it ever in the 15 years I used that bike.
Well, that's too long.
Yeah, it worked fine.
But yeah, that lube that comes when you buy a brand new bike, the chain comes pre-lubed from the factory. Supposedly, even on shitty bikes, that is like the master lube. You cannot do better than that. So you should basically not clean that off until years when you absolutely have to, and it's like, okay, the master lube has finally stopped working. Now I have to resort to my bottle of whatever.
So yeah, we're not going to do much news because it's the book club, but I just want to point out, because it's kind of breaking news, that PAX East, which after the Boston bombings did not have to go through the security theater that Anime Boston was forced to go through, as of 2014, is now inexplicably and suddenly being forced to go through the ridiculous, intrusive bag checks at every entrance.
Oh, well, that's going to be real bad.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Not too excited about it. The only thing I can really say about this is that if you're mad, you should complain to the city of Boston. You should actually email the mayor of Boston.
Clearly this, we all know it's security theater, right? We don't need to talk about that again for the 10 billionth time. But this is so obviously a scam to basically, quote, create jobs, right?
Yep.
So,
it's because the city provides these people. There's tons of them. None of them want to be there. I remember one lady, when she was checking my bag at Anime Boston, was going through the motions because her manager was there, and she kept saying to me, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I have to do this. Really, I'm sorry. She kept saying that to everyone she was checking the bags for. They know. So, yeah, this sucks. The only thing I can say is that PAX Prime is literally in every way objectively superior to PAX East at this point.
Yeah, PAX East, it's going to be hilarious. So a few thousand people are going to try to get in on Friday at 10 a.m. to go to the keynote, right?
As far as I can see, there's
and
only
they're
two
They're going to be waiting
entrances.
in the security line, and then they're going to have to go up to the real line. And while if the keynote starts on time, the room might not even be full. People might still be in the security line, and then as soon as they get through, running to the keynote and getting there while it's in progress.
I also predict that, unlike PAX Prime, PAX East, basically no attendees are in a hotel that's connected to the convention center, because that shit was sold out before the hotels went live.
Yep.
So the vast majority of the people attending PAX East are walking to the convention from far away or taking a shuttle from far away. They're all going to have bags. And there's more people there than Anime Boston. I'm not saying it's going to be a disaster.
And they're all people who want to get in immediately as soon as the thing opens.
Either for the keynote or the dealers for hall exhibition room.
Yep.
Couple all that with the fact that there's really only two entrances.
But actually, because people don't meander in and out of the PAX East a whole lot, during the day, once they get that line through, it should actually be okay. But then once people leave at night, they ain't coming back, which
Yep.
they already weren't coming back because of the hour decrease. They're really not coming back
Yeah,
now.
if PAX ends at midnight and I get dinner at 8 p.m.,
I'm not going back.
Well, I am, because I'm
I have
working.
to. I'm enforcing.
My enforcer shift is the entire con. I'm
Right.
not.
Well, I'm enforcing. Hopefully, I pick the night shift. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, not super excited about this. I hate to say it, but probably wouldn't attend PAX East if I weren't a guest speaker and/or an enforcer.
That goes for pretty much every convention.
I would go to PAX Prime if I was just an attendee.
Yeah, sure.
I would go to MagFest if I was just an attendee.
Well, obviously.
Those are probably the only two major cons I'd go to if I was just an attendee, to be perfectly blunt.
I might go to Kineticon if I was. Cause
Yo, you know what? I would go to
if
Kineticon.
I was just an attendee of Kineticon, you know what I could do there?
Oh my god, I'd play fucking games.
Oh man, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I would go to Kineticon if I was just an attendee, even though I've never done that because I've always been a guest or staff or something.
But we have gone to Kineticons where we didn't have much to do. And
Yeah, well, we ran panels, but that was it. Well, there was that one year way back where we showed up, not knowing if we had panels, tricked the staff into giving us badges as guests, and then we looked through the schedule, found that they had scheduled all the same panels that we did the previous year, that year, without telling us, and then proceeded to show up and run all those panels. Kineticon's come a long way, guys. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. GeekNights Book Club, but first... Things of the day.
So there's this guy. I'm not sure what the context of this video is.
Doesn't really matter. You know what the
guy
context is? Bikes.
I think this guy is like an important person or maybe famous or something, and I just don't know him.
I'm going to try to figure it out. Let's see.
He's being interviewed by someone or something. I don't know.
Tyler, the creator.
Yeah, he's someone. He's a somebody.
This video only has 4,000 views.
He's just not a somebody that I know. The point is that whoever's interviewing him, right, I guess ask him something, but the video does not contain the question, only contains the answer. And this is the greatest advice regarding bicycles that I've ever heard in my entire life in a 7-second YouTube video. You have 7 seconds. You can watch this video.
So I think I still don't know what he is. I think he makes music.
Okay. He knows about bikes. That's all that matters.
Yes, he knows everything you need to know about bikes.
Bicycle advice that is ever...
Google knew.
Okay.
He's a rapper.
All right.
Tyler Gregory Onkonma, better known as Tyler, the Creator, is an American rapper and record producer from California. He's 23 years old, and his albums are called Wolf, Bastard, and Goblin.
I'm liking this guy more and more every second.
Also, the 3 pictures of him that Google decided to show me, I think he's a cool dude.
I'm liking this guy even
Look
more.
at that face. That is
Okay,
such a face.
do you see that? I don't know if that's his official Twitter or not. I'm just looking at your screen in the Google search results.
Yeah.
It seems if that is the real account and not a parody account, that his actual Twitter handle is Fuck Tyler.
If that is true, he is the best.
This guy's awesome.
We'll find out. I'm going to listen to his music later.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put it in the... Anyway. So, yeah. My thing of the day, this is a short. It's actually a long short. It's pretty long. It's called The Expert. And I will say this.
This is 100% too real. Real.
I have been
the most real.
in meetings that if you literally take this exact conversation and just
I've been in so many of these meetings.
Just replace the proper nouns with TCP/IP and servers and shared objects. It is literally the same meeting, right down to exactly what the executives say, the body language of the executives, well, let's not lose track of the big picture here. We have a task that's set before us. Those exact words have been said to me dozens of times.
I have been in this exact meeting many times. All over the place.
If you want to know what the jobs of people like me and Scott are like when we have
a meeting with someone who is not a technical person,
it is literally this. And I know what you're gonna think when you're watching this video. You're gonna be thinking to yourself, if I were in that room, I would quit and walk the fuck out. Yeah, that's happened.
Yeah.
I've done that. I've seen people in meetings like this quit their jobs in said meetings. That actually happens.
Usually what I do in this meeting situation is, it's like the guy sort of caves in and he's like, I can do anything. I'm an expert. Where I'm like,
no, he didn't. That was obviously he's sarcastic and he's checked out.
Obviously. But what I do is I'm like, no, really. Really?
I like when
and I basically try to make that the other. I turn it on them to make them seem.
but he
as
even
dumb.
he went through.
And then people don't like me, but that's not
he
my
went through
problem.
all the stages that the engineer goes through, including trying to use stupid back add stupid. When he's like, "Well, I'm gonna draw the other 6 with transparent ink. How's that? I'm doing it right now." Yeah. So if you cringe while watching this, welcome to the corporate
This
world.
is reality. This is what's real,
This
guys.
is a stone cold dose of fucking real.
If you're like in college and you're getting ready to go enter the job world,
just be ready.
once you have a job and you're a smart person, that is what the job will be like when you have to communicate with people who are dumbasses
Now,
and
guys,
don't know anything about technology.
I want to say something else because this isn't Monday Geek Nights. It's Thursday Geek Nights. I don't know who the fuck you are. But if you watch this video and you've been in meetings that are of this nature, like a technologist and the salespeople and the stakeholders and all that business, and you're one of the people other than the engineer.
Right, like you're in a meeting and an engineer told you that's impossible, that can't be done.
Like if you could envision a meeting like this where you're not the engineer and you don't think that meeting went this way, you're wrong. That meeting went this way and you're the problem.
You are the problem. You don't deserve your job or whatever monies you have. You should go back to school. Go back to school right now.
This is way too real.
This is the most real.
In the better moment, the book club book was Wool. We're talking about it right the fuck now. This weekend,
Was
Saturday.
I the one that chose the wool, or were you the one that chose the wool?
I chose the Wool because too many people gave me free copies. I do have a signed free copy, which I still...
I haven't chosen anything else yet because I didn't realize I had to choose something.
No,
I'll choose something for the next episode.
that's fine. That's fine. This weekend, if you're in New York City, which someone a lot of people we know are in New York City for this.
No, you don't say. We know a lot of people in the place where we live.
Yeah, but no, a lot of people who don't live here are here because it's the Mocha Fest.
Because it's New York City.
Mocha Fest is this goddamn weekend.
That's also true.
We're going to be there Saturday, pretty much at the open.
Until we leave it.
Until we see everything, then we're going to go buy a pie.
Yeah, and then eat an awesome lunch somewhere.
Yep. If you're going to be next weekend in Boston and you can get through the security theater, one, I recommend try to snag some tabletop gaming space in the hotel early. Like if I were you and I was going to PAX East, do all the stuff in the con you want to do before noon, get a huge lunch at Legal Seafood Test Kitchen.
That's the only place to eat.
And then go to the hotel, get a space to game, and don't fucking give up that space for anything for the rest of the night.
Mm-hmm.
That is my suggestion to you. But Friday, 1 p.m. in the Badger Theater, we will be doing our most controversial panel yet. Why no one will game with you.
It's so controversial, we're going to get in trouble, and it'll be the last PAX panel we do ever.
If we didn't get in trouble after our Vietnam, when we fucked up that late show, I don't think we could get into. I would have to like get on stage, say something racist, and drop my pants.
Yeah, what was that? There was that dancey guy who got kicked out, right?
Yeah, and all he did was take his pants off.
Yeah, I don't know.
As far as like,
that's a lot.
I'm not going to say all he did was take his pants off.
That's a lot.
The straw that broke the camel's back was taking his pants off. He was otherwise just a fucking.
Nah, there's a lot of fuckings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, why no one will game with you? That's actually what we're talking about. Why no one's going to game with you? You right now.
Because no one likes you.
Yeah. Or at least they don't like your
You're
games.
the dumb person in the meeting.
1 p.m. Badger Theater.
Other meta
Friday.
items. Come and find us on the internet. And all the places on the internet that people are and existing, we are also there.
We're going to be at ZenkaiCon on Saturday and Sunday doing panels in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. April, the fuck is this con? 25th? So I guess the 26th and the 27th of April, we're going to be there. Kineticon is coming up a couple months down the road. And we're going to be at PAX Prime. I'm probably going to be at PAX Aus. I'm going to be at PAX Dev. I don't know if Scott will be there or not.
Maybe.
Probably going to be at the next PAX East. Probably going to be the next Anime Boston. Getting way ahead of ourselves. So Wool. I picked Wool as a book literally because so many people gave me free copies of it and a bunch of people were talking about it on the internet. Either it was going to be good, which is awesome, or it was going to be another King Killer Chronicle. Captain Penis fucks his way through being a nice guy in a fantasy world.
Well, I mean, anything in the world is either good or bad.
Yeah,
right?
but not just bad, but bad enough to where I'm actually mad.
There was no chance of it being slightly bad or just mediocre. It was either going to be amazing or crap. There was
someone tweeted at me recently, and they said something like, "Man, the King Killer Chronicle really shat in your Cheerios, didn't it?" And I was like, you know what? It kind of did.
But yeah, no, I mean, whenever something is ridiculously popular, right, some nerds have a reaction where they don't even know anything about it yet. All they know is that thing over there is ridiculously popular, and that either makes them want to check it out super hardcore, or if they're a different kind of nerd, it makes them want, immediately judge it to be shitty and mainstream or too popular, and they completely, say it sucks even though they know nothing about it yet, right? There tends to be a lot of nerds that do that. Whereas for me, when I see something that's ridiculously popular, I go, and I don't necessarily say that sucks, because it's not. Most of the time it's not complete garbage, right? Very few things are ridiculously bad, right? Odin comes across once a century, right? But I don't immediately jump on board either, right? I'm always just skeptical, why is that thing so popular?
We'll do a little bit of research and then we'll wait.
Why am I seeing this so frequently, right? Before I even read Wool, I saw someone on the subway reading Shift, which is the sequel. And I was like,
which apparently we were told is shit.
What's up with that?
So yeah, and like I said, the anecdote was I was given a free copy by two different people at two different conventions.
And we got a free copy when we went to some charity dinner in the goodie bag.
Yep. So I had all these free copies. So
might as well read it.
So I'm going to say this one last time, guys. It's a book club. We're talking about it, assuming you already read it. So we're not going to summarize the plot. We're going to spoil everything, and there's a lot to spoil.
And this is one of those books where it looks physically large, like large paper, large.
No, it takes a few days to read.
It takes no time to read this book. The text is big. It reads really fast.
So if you haven't read it yet, stop listening and go read the book. The whole point of the book club is that you read the book.
We're trying to make you read a book.
We're trying to enjoy that experience that is so rare where you and all your friends all saw the same movie or read the same book and then you talk about it like the last several months of Kill La Kill.
Mm-hmm.
So, Wool, I liked it actually.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I said this on a previous episode, right? But might as well compact it, reiterate myself for anyone who's just listening to this. When I first read page 1, 2, 3, I'm immediately thinking of, Logan's Run, Fallout, Paranoia RPG, all those. I'm like, this is another one of those. And I'm like, well, that's kind of good. I like those. Those are things I'm down with.
And there aren't that many of those that have multiple of those in the same story.
That's
Paranoia
true.
is usually just Paranoia. Brazil is usually just Brazil.
Oh, Brazil's another one. But Brazil doesn't have See, this is more specific than that, right? Logan's Run, Paranoia, and Fallout all have not just the sort of post-apocalypse weird society issue, which also Brazil has.
Yep.
But they also have the specific thing of people locked in to a place, right, where the entire society is enclosed, sealed in. Phoenix Volume 2, Future, also has that.
And within that space, like the Paranoia side, the people are color-coded in some fashion and don't intermingle.
Something like that. Right. But anyway, there was some intermingling, at least in Wool, but
it was superficial. That's kind of the point.
Right. So on the one hand, I'm like, that is a trope, a story mechanic that I like, a kind of story that I like.
Oh wow, Wikipedia fucking spoils it immediately.
Right.
Anyway.
But on the other hand, right, I'm also giving it minus points in the first few pages because I'm like, oh, it's just ripping off Paranoia, Fallout, etc., right? So on the one hand, it's like, okay, it's another one of those things that I like, that I've seen so often, but it's another one of those, right? So plus and minus from the get-go. But then I realized something after chapter 2. I'm like, let's think about this for a second. Logan's Run, right? Fallout, Paranoia the RPG, Phoenix Volume 2. Those are fucking obscure things only nerds know about. Maybe Logan's Run.
Well, it's like
maybe
if you've never read a lot of fantasy fiction, you might read Game of Thrones and think, "Oh my god, it's so serious and dark and amazing."
Maybe Logan's Run, a normal non-nerd would know about.
It has to be a normal non-nerd who's also kind of old at this point.
Right. It's like the things that tell this story has been told at least 5-6 times before, but every place the story has been told is in an obscure, nerdy, media that only people like us even know about. They're super popular among people like us, but among the general populace of the world, this story has not really been told in pop culture outside of Logan's Run, which isn't that popular.
Yep.
So this is like, hey, I saw people reading this shit on the subway. This is introducing that story that to them, this seems unique and amazing and original. Right? I don't know if the author of this, borrowed or came up with the idea.
Had to have. If this guy has never heard of any of those things, I'm kind of amazed at his...
Well, supposedly Harry Potter lady never read any, Book of Magic or whatever. And
I can see that, though.
I don't know.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Well, so...
And supposedly, what's it called? Hunger Games never read Battle Royale or knew it existed, supposedly. Right? Whereas you wouldn't believe it unless,
There's one thing that you might not realize out there that you probably should. This was written as sort of a series of short stories. It wasn't originally a single book.
Right, so the book that we got that was just Wool is actually like 5 books?
It's 5 books, but really it's 3 books.
Okay.
Book 1... The first guy, and again, last warning, fucking spoilers.
That's up until the mayor dies is book 1, right?
No, book 1 is up until the first cleaner we see dies.
That's like not long at all.
Yeah, that's book 1.
That's like 4 pages.
And you know what? I really like book 1 because book 1 reminded me in every way of
book
a Ray
1 is
Bradbury.
not even a book; it's a pamphlet.
You know what it is? It's a Ray Bradbury short story.
Yeah, book 1 is a pamphlet.
It's even in the style of a Ray Bradbury short story.
Kinda.
I mean, look, it sets up.
I can see that.
It sets up this world really quickly. It sends him out there like, he wants he wants to go for a cleaning.
Twilight Zone episode.
Yep, it explains the deal. He's convinced that his wife went out there because she learned that they had the technology to make the screen show whatever it wanted. She's like, they pulled the wool over her eyes. The screen's a fake. She went out there, didn't come back. So he's like, I know that she knew something. I know the screen can fake it. I'm going to go out there. Holy fuck, the world's awesome. Oh, wait, they can fake it, but wrong screen.
Mm-hmm.
And that ending where you think he pops the mask off and then he just fucking dies out in the wilderness in the toxic air.
Yep.
That was great.
Yep.
I'm not going to say I didn't see it coming, but I didn't see the fullness of it coming.
Yeah, I didn't see it's like you're reading the description of the screen over the face, and it's like I only had to read 2 words of that description before I completely grokked the whole situation. Right? And then it felt like when I'm reading the rest of those paragraphs, like, yep, I already got it. Yep, but I didn't get it before the first 2 words of that paragraph.
Yep.
It's weird like that. It's like, you feel like you figured it. You didn't figure it out actually in advance, right? But you figured it out basically right before actually reading it, at that moment. It's weird. It's almost like your brain has already read the rest of the words in the page, but you still haven't read the rest of the words in the page.
But all I could think was that whole system seems clever because just knowing that from the beginning part of the book, all right, anyone who expresses a desire to leave is probably going to be a problem in a society like this.
Right.
So set up a system that guarantees they'll go die. But then why have this ridiculously overcomplicated...
After I read that for book 1, I guess, technically, right? As soon as I finished it, I was like, aha, so many questions have been answered right away. Very interesting. And then I'm like, but why?
Yeah, it's like that. You could just fucking shoot those people and say, don't fucking go outside.
Why do you have to lie to someone who's going to be dead any second?
Well,
right?
Obviously, you could think it's to trick them into doing the cleaning anyway. But
why would that get them to do the cleaning?
Why not just fake the screen not needing cleaning and just kill people who break the rules?
Yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense.
Or why not just fake them doing the cleaning and just have them all go out there and die? They can't get back in.
Yeah, you don't need to show the real outside world. You can just show some fake outside world that you created with your computers. And then anyone who goes into that room, you just incinerate them into dust.
Yeah, and you just animate a new person going out there and dying.
Fake a video of them going out and cleaning.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it was interesting that book 2 started and then just killed all those characters too.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, actually.
Well, I liked it in that we got to, you read like an Urasawa manga, right? And he constantly introduces a new character and then makes you care about them,
Yep.
right? But they're always side characters that he makes you care about for like a minute, and then he moves around a whole bunch. Here, it's sort of similar. Introduce a new character, make you care about it. I like that because there's more characters to care about, and you end up caring about them, but they're all main characters, and then they kill them, and then they introduce you another one, and then you care about that one too.
After book 2,
and you're not like, oh, bring back the old one, no.
like after book 1, just because
Rusty.
the plot seemed so sort of overcomplicated, that I thought of that as being minus points. But then after book 2,
it's not that complicated.
well, no, not the plot of the book, the plot of the screen.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it seems so contrived. Like, really, you're gonna have this super complicated secret?
Right.
Okay, but then after book 2. I like the sort of when you start to figure out that actually it is a lot more complicated. I actually really got invested in what the fuck was going on with this world.
Well,
especially because it has this theme that was kind of subtle it's always the zebra storyteller, that the first characters, the initial people who die, got the seed and then went out and died. They had to be killed before that seed could sprout. But a tiny, tiny piece of that seed survived inside of the silo.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else found it, and otherwise, had they not learned about the screens, they would have died too. But they learned about the screens, but because they started slightly ahead of everyone else and had a tiny bit more info to go on,
came before.
they learned they learned the resolution. So when she goes outside, there's that moment of, oh my God, the visor is X to 8 by 2 inches. So she knew exactly what the fuck was going on because she'd been primed a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the overall theme of this book. Information is the most powerful thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Having the tiniest sliver of information 100% changed the outcome of that cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Juliet, instead of dying, could 100% save the day. And because she shared that with one other person, he was able to make the supply thing happen.
Yep.
And then everything just cascades from there. And information is literally not literally. Information is a snowball in these books.
Sure. Yeah, but I mean, something I didn't like about that aspect of the story, right, is that, information is so powerful, which is why IT sort of ran the show and was the bad guys. I guess, at least the organization IT was the bad guys, right?
Yeah, but kind of
even
complex.
though all the individuals in IT, even the baddest guy were...
Oh, Bernard. I hated Bernard so much, but then
he's at least sympathetic at times.
Well, because he makes that really good point of, yes, the people who set this up are horrible and evil, but...
what the fuck are we supposed to do instead?
They already did it. They already ruined the world. What do you want me to do? Let everyone die?
Right.
My options are follow through with their plot so that at least someone will survive to rebuild, or fuck it. Let's just all die.
Right.
Like, it's very hard to see another way out for him.
No. But yeah. Well, we're going to see some sideways digging, I guess, in the future books if you read.
I'm not going to read the rest of the books because
you learned your lesson?
Luke Burridge basically said they're literally not worth reading, and I trust him a lot.
I trust him also.
Yeah. Also, I read what they're about.
Well, the second one's about Silo 1, right? Which is interesting because, like, you'd kind of feel like that's like where all the mysteries are at. You want to know about that, right?
Yeah, except it seems to be a prequel, and it's about a congressman.
Oh, it's not actually about what's happening in Silo 1 right now?
Did you read the afterword in the book, the Q&A with the author?
Yes.
Where he was like, you won't believe what's going on in Silo 40. It's like, really? Now I really want to know what's going on in Silo 40.
I don't care about Silo 40. I care about what's happening in Silo 1 where the big bad guys are right now. That's like knowing what's going on in the Death Star where the Emperor is.
Yep. I also kind of want to know what's going on. And, most of the silos made it. Only what, like 3?
Yeah.
Died so
They're probably
far?
all just carrying on the same way that the wool silo was carrying on.
Yeah.
Before any bad things happened.
But that was the moment that I did not see coming. Like, I expected a lot of things from this book, but when she didn't do the cleaning and she walked over the horizon, when Bernard was like, oh, fuck, and then he calls the other silos, he's like, this is Silo 18. We got a problem. I didn't expect there to be all these other silos.
I didn't
right
expect there to be other silos, really, but, well,
I expected there to be other silos and it to be a really sort of disconnected plot of like they're not together. I did not expect the IT departments of all the silos to be in constant communication.
Right. It's because they present, right, like Bernard and IT of their silo as like the biggest bad. You couldn't imagine a square boss really. Like the square boss you imagined was hiding in the silo, right? Not somewhere else. It was sort of like a clever ruse. But it's like I didn't even at that moment I'm like, why is it such a big deal that she didn't clean and walked over the hill and she'll die over there? Who gives a fuck?
Yep.
Why is it important that they see her die on the thing? Why is it a real you still had all these
why were they
questions.
engineering the suits the way they did? All this stuff. Like I thought the plot was going to be up before that point. They engineer the suits to fail because they are evil and they're trying to keep the people in the silo from trying to expand for what just so they can maintain their power, kind of like in North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
But then you find out that actually no, they're trying to maintain all the other North Koreas so that they can all keep going.
Yeah, because I guess if the North Koreas all knew about each other, they wouldn't be able to keep going.
Well, the idea is that because look at how dangerous information is. And look at how apparently Silo 17, like Silo 18 almost had the same thing. A little bit of information just cascades into disaster and the silo's done.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is to segregate the silos so if one goes crazy, all the rest are fine.
What do you do if your head of IT is all fucked the fuck up? If you're putting all your eggs in one basket and one silo depends entirely on one person.
Yep, that kind of bothered me.
And that's what happened in this particular silo, is it fucked up because Bernard fucked up trying to poison. He could have just not done that and it would have been just fine.
Yeah, if he hadn't poisoned the mayor, actually, none of this bullshit would have happened.
Right.
He was just stupid.
I don't know why. I guess there must have been something in the order that told him to do that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's like, why did he do that?
Yeah, because
he
really
wasn't trying to poison the mayor. He was trying to poison the sheriff guy.
Yeah.
The second in command.
But even then,
sheriff guy.
why poison him? All that's going to do is raise questions and cause fucking issues. Why rustle jimmies that can be left unrustled?
Right. It's like, why did he, like, what in the order told him to do that? Why was that?
Also, he trusted Lucas way too quick.
Yeah, well, let's say he had succeeded in poisoning just the second, the sheriff assistant
Yeah, great.
guy.
So now you have a mayor who's going to be sad and pissed off, and a new sheriff who she trusts who's going to be really pissed off, and they're going to investigate the fuck out of that.
Right. It's not that his plan was not a plan that was going to help the silo. So I don't understand why he did that or what in the order suggested that was a good
What
thing
I
to
also
do.
don't understand is why the silo, all the other silo,
Or maybe
IT
just
heads-
letting what's her name, the main character?
Juliet.
Yeah, if you let Juliet.
Really? You forgot
I can't
the
remember
whole
shit.
subplot about Romeo and Juliet in the
I
play?
remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you just let Juliet be sheriff, would that really have brought about the doom of the silo on its own?
Or he could have gotten rid of her later if she figured stuff out.
I mean,
because
the
of that
previous
PC.
sheriff was already bad seed or whatever, right? So.
Yeah, if he hadn't called her back up to do the cleaning, she probably wouldn't have figured any of that shit out.
Right. Anyway.
But yeah, honestly, the only part of this book I did not like is the whole super long section about her going down to get the pumps going again, and then the drama of that failing.
Oh, in the other silo?
Yes, that chapter, that like plot was way too long.
Yeah, the pacing of it was way off, and
because it was happening at the same time as the much more interesting plot in Silo 18.
Yep.
With the revolution. I wish that whole I think a better editor would have told them to literally skip over that part, have her go down, be successful with the pump, come back up, and find Solo knocked out.
Right.
That should have been like a few
It's
pages.
like, they build that up so much. They spend all this time building it up, and it's like, yeah.
Doesn't
you
matter.
didn't need to build that up. Diving with, like, shoddy diving equipment under all that water is fucking scary. You don't need to explain it to me for, like, 2 chapters.
And also, she's a goddamn engineer. The whole book, she is like the Uber engineer, and yet she doesn't test this at all, doesn't do a test dive. If you're going to give me that level of detail on the production dive, then show her doing the test dives so then it makes sense that it failed because she didn't account for something. Don't just have her be stupid and then have her be stupid for like an entire fucking set of chapters.
And then don't Deus Ex the recovery with the air trapped under the stairs and shit.
Yeah, that also wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
I was just, that whole chapter, seriously, who edited this book? That should have been cut.
Anyway.
Yeah, that was just Baby's first novel right there.
The other thing that bothered me slightly about this book was how, IT's the bad guy and mechanics is the good guy, right? It's like it has slight lettuce tones.
Were they
turn me
really
off.
the good guy? Because what was their immediate reaction? Rabble, rabble, rabble. Let's kill everybody.
I'm just saying is that, there is a lettuce tone that is I'm not a fan of.
But at the same time, they weren't anti-technology. In fact, they were pro-technology, and those among them who tried to advance technology got killed. I mean, they were like, why do we just make more silo guys?
Well, I mean,
murdered.
That's something else that bothered me, right? Is, you had the one guy who like never left his room. He seemed to be the only one capable of inventing anything. You're telling me this silo's been around for, I guess, century at least?
They set that up pretty clearly. Anyone who tried to invent anything was murdered.
It's like no one had any inventive abilities.
Remember, Juliet's former lover was murdered because he was inventive.
What did he invent?
He figured out a plan to drill sideways, and they were like, nope, death. And then he figured out a plan to drill down, and then no death. It's implied that anyone who innovates at all is murdered, because anyone who fucked around with radio equipment would have heard those other silos immediately.
That's true.
I mean, the radios themselves, if you spend any time analyzing the radio, look how quickly he figured it out. He didn't even need to see the dial with 18 written on it.
Well, to even know a radio is possible, right?
Well, he knew radio was possible.
I guess.
Because everyone knew the sheriffs had radios, and it was part of the pact. Death penalty if you have a radio you're not supposed to have. But how come Bernard was stupid, and he just has this long argument with Juliet over the radio? As soon as she talked, he should just shut the fuck up or held down transmit so no one could hear what she was saying. Like, seriously, dude? Or how come the other silos didn't be like, what the fuck, and then to jump down on this?
How are they supposed to jump down on it from far away in a silo?
IT, any one of them could have just held down transmit.
Sure.
That's how that works. Remember at the Kineticon where we lost a radio channel?
Sure.
And remember how hard it was to get around that?
Sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a super fun book, well written mostly, except for that one long overdone scene. The plot was pretty good, reasonably complex. I liked it. I'm really sad that I'm told the rest of the books are really bad.
I mean, I realize, like I said at the beginning, this story of the people trapped in a sealed society in the post-apocalypse, right, where they can't leave, is a story that feels like it's been told often, but hasn't actually been told that often. It's a story I like, and after reading this, I'm like, you know what? This story hasn't really been exposed to the mainstream people, so I kind of like it to be like a Wool movie would probably go over well. And I would like to see the story told again. Why the fuck not? Fallout 4, bring it on. Anything else?
Yeah. So, I'll say this. Had I not been told by a bunch of people that the rest of the books are shit, I would have immediately started reading the next book.
Yeah, I feel like, it wasn't like the book was ridiculously deep or anything. It's just a page turner, just like really straightforward. Like you just really got to read that next page, which is part of why it didn't take that long to read it.
Yeah. So, it's a good book. I guess Scott is pick another book.
I'll pick one real soon.
You gonna pick something good?
I'll pick something real good.
Real good?
Real good.
All right. No shows next week because I'm flying to Paris and then immediately from there to PAX. So, see you guys at PAX East.
C'est Paris to the PAX East.
Yes. It's also really fucking hard to fly to Boston. Yeah, not super respectful for Boston anymore.
Fuck you, Boston.
I would not move to Boston after what they've done to these conventions because I don't trust the city. But that's neither here nor there. It's almost Boston's IT department. This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.
Thursday, April 3rd, 2014. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And tonight on Geek Nights, Wool. Let's do this. I guess more properly, the Geek Nights Book Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So, warm today. So luxurious. I was so close to biking.
I only had to wear like a hoodie and a not really much coat.
Last night I was like, I should bike to work tomorrow. And then I went to bed. And then I woke up and I was like, I should bike to work today.
It's right on the borderline where I think you'll be totally cool biking to work, but since you'll be wearing shorts and then you go over the bridge, you'll be a little cold, like, but you'll make it, and then it'll be, it's like on that border.
I
like
have
2
an
degrees
advantage.
warmer, it'll be like, fuck yeah.
I have a significant advantage. The Pulaski doesn't really count because it's
Hair?
barely a bridge.
Hair?
So, no.
If I had hair, I could bike now.
By the time I get to the Williamsburg
I
Bridge,
stopped working. Now I have to resort to my, bottle of whatever.
So yeah, we're not going to do much news because it's the book club, but I just want to point out, because it's kind of breaking news, that PAX East, which after the Boston bombings did not have to go through the security theater that Anime Boston was forced to go through, as of 2014, is now inexplicably and suddenly being forced to go through the ridiculous, intrusive bag checks at every entrance.
Oh, well, that's going to be real bad.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Not too excited about it. The only thing I can really say about this is that if you're mad, you should complain to the city of Boston. Like, you should actually email the mayor of Boston.
Clearly this, we all know it's security theater, right? We don't need to talk about that again for the 10 billionth time. But this is so obviously a scam to basically, quote, create jobs, right?
Yep.
So,
I mean, it's because the city provides these people. There's tons of them. None of them want to be there. I remember one lady, when she was checking my bag at Anime Boston, was going through the motions because her manager was there, and she kept saying to me, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I have to do this. Really, I'm sorry. Like, she kept saying that to everyone she was checking the bags for. They know. So, yeah, this bridge, which is the bridge I have to worry about, I'm already hot and sweaty from biking. I don't have a bridge early in my ride, only late in the ride. The only reason I didn't bike was that I have not actually looked at my bike since last time I biked.
Yeah, I guess all I really need to do, I could probably just
pump up the tires.
I could probably just pump it up and go, but I still got to check the brakes and make sure the wheel
I gotta clean it. I gotta lube it. I actually want to degrease the chain and regrease it. There's some stuff I want to do.
Actually, you're not supposed to do that.
Now, mine's pretty fucking grody.
It's only a year old.
Yeah, and it's never been cleaned.
That's apparently, you still have the original grease that's from when you got the chain when the bike was new. You're supposed to not remove that for as long as humanly possible, because you can basically never get lubrication better than what came from the factory.
Well, my old mountain bike, actually, I never lubed it ever in the 15 years I used that bike.
Well, that's too long.
Yeah, it worked fine.
But yeah, that lube that comes when you buy a brand new bike, the chain comes pre-lubed from the factory. Supposedly, even on shitty bikes, that is like the master lube. Like you cannot do better than that. So you should basically not clean that off until years when you absolutely have to, and it's like, okay, the master lube is finally
sucks. The only thing I can say is that PAX Prime is literally in every way objectively superior to PAX East at this point.
Yeah, I mean, PAX East, I'm going to see, it's going to be hilarious. So a few thousand people are going to try to get in on Friday at 10 a.m. to go to the keynote, right?
As far as I can see, there's
and
only
they're
two
gonna be waiting. They're going to be
entrances.
waiting in the security line, and then they're going to have to go up to the real line. And while if the keynote starts on time, the room might not even be full. People might still be in the security line, and then as soon as they get through, running to the keynote and getting there while it's in progress.
I also predict that, unlike PAX Prime, PAX East, basically no attendees are in a hotel that's connected to the convention center, because that shit was sold out before the hotels went live.
Yep.
So the vast majority of the people attending PAX East are walking to the convention from far away or taking a shuttle from far away. They're all going to have bags. And there's more people there than Anime Boston. I'm not saying it's going to be a disaster.
And they're all people who want to get in immediately as soon as the thing opens.
Either for the keynote or the dealers hall exhibition room.
Yep.
Couple all that with the fact that there's really only two entrances.
But actually, because people don't meander in and out of the PAX East a whole lot, during the day, once they get that line through, it should actually be okay. But then once people leave at night, they ain't coming back, which they already weren't coming back because of the hour decrease. They're really not coming back now.
If PAX ends at midnight and I get dinner at 8 p.m.
I'm not going back.
Well, I am, because I'm working.
I'm enforcing.
My enforcer shift is the entire con. I'm not.
Well, I'm enforcing. Hopefully, I pick the night shift. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, not super excited about this. I hate to say it, but probably wouldn't attend PAX East if I weren't a guest speaker and or an enforcer.
That goes for pretty much every convention.
I would go to PAX Prime if I was just an attendee.
Yeah, sure.
I would go to MagFest if I was just an attendee.
Well, obviously.
Those are probably the only two major cons I'd go to if I was just an attendee, to be perfectly blunt.
I might go to Kineticon. If I was,
Yo, you know what? I would go to
if
Kineticon.
I was just an attendee of Kineticon, you know what I could do there?
Oh my God, I'd play fucking games.
Oh man, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I would go to Kineticon if I was just an attendee, even though I've never done that because I've always been a guest or staff or something.
But we have gone to Kineticons where we didn't have much to do. And
yeah, well, we ran panels, but that was it. Well, there was that one year way back where we showed up not knowing if we had panels.